welcome everybody. This is a presentation on Chromebooks for everyone in 2020. Now, I've given this talk for about 5 or 6 years now, and when I started the talk, I used to call this, "What the heck is a Chromebook?" And nobody knew what a Chromebook was, but now Chromebooks are pretty common. So then I renamed the talk, and I gave couple of years, I gave a talk, and it was called Chromebooks for Seniors. And Judy Tallur said, "Why should it be just for seniors? It should be for everyone." So I'm just trying to keep everybody happy. So now I call it Chromebooks for everyone, right? And particularly in this presentation, we'll talk a little bit about Chromebooks for everyone, but also in 2020, I'll talk about some of the new models and some of the things that you might want to look at. Now, you don't have to read this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of the history about Chromebooks. You may or may not be aware, but how Chromebooks came to be had nothing to do with Chromebooks. Chromebooks came to be really because of iPads. Now, about 10 years ago, or a little bit longer, Steve Jobs introduced the iPad into the school system. And what they did very early on in the school system is they sold they gave a lot of these away to the schools and universities and various education or institutes. And they planted the seed with the idea that an iPad was synonymous with good education. And my, did they ever do a good job with that. And pretty soon, in a very short order, the whole world in the school system was using iPads. In fact, my daughter and son-in-law are professional teachers. And when I was in New Zealand visiting them, all the kids had iPads. Then they got promoted and went to Singapore. And when I went there and saw them at their school that they were working at, all the kids had iPads. And now they work in Beijing, China, a very exclusive school, and they have all the kids get iPads each year. So the iPads around the world are used in education. What happened as well was, in order to connect all these iPads, you had to have a networking system that would allow the schools to network these and make them work. And Google came along and created the software to do that. So Google always participated in the school. About 80% of the schools in the United States use the Google networking services for their G Suite to connect all these devices. Well, the problem was iPads were expensive, and I think about 3 or 4 years ago, the Los Angeles School District had a budget of $345 million for iPads, and so the school districts were really concerned because these darn things were costing a lot of money. So along came Google, and they thought, well, we can do this better, and they created a laptop called a Chromebook. And this was not available in the stores. In fact, they never marketed it towards the stores, and they created this device which was a lot cheaper than the iPad. And the schools loved it. They bought these in great quantities. Today, there's about 20 million 20 million Chromebooks in the public school system in the United States, and so they became very, very popular. Well, just before Windows 10 came out the year before, very few laptop companies were making any money. In fact, Sony got out of the business, Toshiba got out of the business, and it was in that year that the first crop of kids graduated from high school that had used Chromebooks for about 4 or 5 years. And there were no Chromebooks to buy. You couldn't buy a Chromebook at Staples or anything like that, or Best Buy. They were only sold to the school districts. So there was this huge demand for Chromebooks because people wanted to use these outside the school system. And that's when the first Chromebook came, and it was called the Samsung Chromebook. And I bought one of the first ones, and the first run was sold out worldwide in 3 days. So you couldn't get another one for about 4 or 5 months. So it was right since they were released about 5 years ago, the popularity has, of course, got a lot more. Now, the myths about the Chromebook the myth is that
detected at the front door.
The Chrome, let me just turn off my little echo show here. It's going to drive me nuts. The myths about the Chromebooks are that they're just inexpensive computers. They're just good for checking email, or that the Chromebooks are only for web browsing. And of course, all those are just myths. Now, certainly the growth of Chromebooks is gone up incredible. There also was a situation a few years ago for what to do, or well, I guess last year, what to do with your old Windows 7 machines. And it is possible to take an old laptop, and there's a company called Neverware, and you actually can install the Chromium operating system on a PC, like a Windows 7 PC that you don't want to use anymore, and you can actually put the Chromium operating system on the PC and make it like a Chromebook. It's not exactly a Chromebook, and we'll talk about that in a minute. So the schools do this, and if you have a lot of old PCs or laptops, the schools like to do this. Now, this was a slide that Judy sent me. This is in her school district. This was a picture of the Chromebooks, and she said, our high school district will have 23,000 Chromebooks for 2018-2019 for the school year. And that's just her school district. So there's a lot of these that are sold. If you go to Walmart and you look in Walmart, this is our Walmart in Mesa. If you look at that, you'll see the whole first row here of Chromebooks. These are all Chromebooks. And you will find that, in fact, that's true. You'll find in many situations now, you'll find more Chromebooks for sale than you will find regular PCs. If you go to the Walmart website and you look at Walmart and you do a search on Chromebooks, you'll see the results here show it. I got a search of 979 models. So that gives you some idea of the scope now and how many people are making computers, making Chromebooks. So you have a huge selection. If you go to Best Buy now, this is the Chromebook section at Best Buy, and you'll see, of course, they have lots of models. I go there and I have chats with the staff occasionally because I want to find out if they are educated and actually understand what Chromebooks are. In the early days, they would say things like, well, they're just cheap computers, and if you don't want to do very much, then you could probably get a Chromebook. Today, they're better educated. They do understand Chromebooks. They understand the value of the Chromebooks, and so you get some pretty good information if you want to go into Best Buy, and they have a very, very good selection as well. Now, you may or may not know, but the CEO of Microsoft, his name is Satya Nadella. He took over from Steve Ballmer. And he wrote a book recently called Hit Refresh. And I bought his book and read it. And in his book, he said they've refocused on the goals of Microsoft. And he said Microsoft will be the innovator of new technology. But in there, he also said they may not be the dominant operating system of the future. And I think he was alluding to the Chromium operating system and its incredible popularity. So you'll see as we move on with the presentation, you'll see where we're going with this. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Chromium operating system that runs a Chromebook. Now I want to, in this picture, you'll see in the top left-hand corner, you'll see a picture of a big truck. And this is, I want you to think of this as the Microsoft operating system. It needs a lot of horsepower to run. It's a huge truck, and it needs lots of gas. So it needs lots of gas and needs lots of horsepower to run the operating system. If you run down here and you look at the bottom right-hand slide, you'll see this is also the Apple operating system. And again, it's a very large operating system. It needs a lot of horsepower to run, and it needs a lot of gas. So both of these, both the Apple and the Microsoft operating systems are very huge and need a lot of power to run them. I want you to think of the Chromium operating system as like this little Mazda Miata down on the left side here. It goes like heck. It needs virtually no gas, and it's fast. And so that's what the Chromium operating system is. It's fast. It doesn't need much power, and it's got a lot of it goes very fast. Now, in this slide, I'm going to talk about the operating system. Because it's so small and it's so fast, we actually install 2 copies of the operating system in your Chromebook at all times. There's 2 copies. There's the primary copy and the secondary copy. So there's always 2 active copies of the Chrome operating system, the primary and the secondary. Now, what happens is, if you look over to the right, you'll see this chip here, and this is called a TPM chip, or Trusted Platform Module. Now this chip, if you want to make Chromebooks, you have to buy a bag of these chips from Google, okay? In that chip is the security for the Chromebooks. And that chip, the TPM chip, is not, if you try to alter it, destroy it, it will self-destroy. You can't add anything, take anything away, alter that chip in any way, or it just won't work. So so you have to buy a bag of these chips. And if you want to make a Chromebook, if you're, let's say, ASUS or your Dell or whoever is making everyone's making Chromebooks, you would have to buy this chip from Google. And then you put this chip into the Chromebook, and it installs in the Chromebook, and it's the security chip. So when you start your Chromebook, up, it does 3 passes through that chip. So there's a first level pass, a security pass that goes through. And if it detects in the operating system, in the Chromium operating system, if there's any problems, if they detect anything that's not right, someone might have done something to it, then it will quickly revert to the second copy. Remember, I told you there's always 2 copies. So it will revert to the second copy. And if the second copy is corrupted for any reason, it will go out to the internet, it will pick up a new copy and download it, install it. And that process will take probably 2 minutes, okay? So it's very, very fast, and it happens quickly. So we go through the first level scan, and then we go through a second level scan and a third deeper level scan. So it goes through 3 scans of the operating system, and it compares it to what is on this chip. And this is the security chip, and this is what it's looking at. Because in a Chromebook, there's no antivirus software, there's no malware software. You don't have to load anything. There's nothing you have to do. You just use your computer, right? We don't have anything like those, anything like that in Chromebooks. So remember, there's always the primary copy, the secondary copy, and it does 3 levels of scanning as it powers up to check. Also, if it's and the software is updated all the time, but you'll never know that it's updated, because unlike Windows, which is intrusive and in the middle of your presentation, it might want to update the software. What happens in this case is the secondary copy is always the ones that are updated, so it never bothers you. And when you turn your computer off at night and you go to bed and you start it the next morning, it switches copies. It always takes the secondary copy and puts it as the primary copy, so you're never interrupted. You never look, and it never tells you that it's updating or anything like that. So that's and that's how it works. Now, the other thing that's interesting about it is what we call sandboxing. Now, I know a lot of you you're in a computer club, so you understand this, is that in Windows, when you install a program, and in the program, it installs all sorts of files into the Windows 10 operating system. And I think you all probably understand that. You've probably had trouble over the past trying to get all that stuff out of your Windows when you want to remove a program. So there's the installing feature where it dumps a bunch of stuff into your computer system, and then when you want to take the program out. Well, in the Chrome operating system, we don't use programs, we use apps. And the apps sit on top of the operating system, and the apps never have they never touch the operating system. There's nothing installed into the operating system. So you can have apps come and go. You can install them, delete them, install them, delete them. You won't hurt it at all. There's no way that the apps actually have any involvement in the operating system. So, and that's different than programs that are installed in Windows. Also, the sandboxing occurs is that if the app is in a window is a window on your computer, it can't get out of that window. So if you have other windows open and other apps open, the bad acting app can't do anything. It won't get out of that window at all. So that, again, it's all makes the Chromebooks very, very, very secure. So again, with the sandboxing and all the things that we've talked about, Chromebooks are very secure. They're non-hackable, and there are no viruses that will attack them. And all the software, all the antivirus, anti-malware stuff is all built into the system, and you don't have to do anything. There's nothing you have to do. All Chromebooks will have they all have solid-state drives. There is no spinning drives in a Chromebook. Now, one of the things that I like to do when I talk about Chromebooks is I like to talk a little bit about, we get a lot of people coming and saying, should I buy a Chromebook? One of the things that I like to do is to recommend to people, try to stay within the same operating system. If you had an iPhone and you were thinking about getting another computer or a tablet or laptop or something, I'd really recommend an iPad. I mean, to get a Chromebook would be yet another operating system that you have to learn. So, and if you had a Windows PC, then you'd have 3. Now, I like it. I do operating systems. I do Linux. I do the Chromium. I do Windows. I do all these operating systems, but that's sort of what my whole life is all about, right? I don't think you guys want to do that. So try and stick within one operating system. Consider your smartphone, and we talked about that, and also consider other family members if you're considering a Chromebook. One problem that you may occur is if you want to move to a Chromebook, and let's say your wife is a sewer and she's using some sort of sewing software on your Windows 10 machine, will that work on a Chromebook? And you should find that out before you decide to switch to a Chromebook. And any special requirements that you might have. The other thing that happens with Chromebooks is the Chromebook expires. In other words, the physical Chromebook expires, not the software. Unlike if you purchase a Windows 10 computer, then the Windows 10 software will expire at some time in the future, and you saw that with Windows 7. In the Windows environment, the software expires. In the Chromebook environment, the hardware expires. So it's a little bit different. And why is that important to know? Well, there are going to be some changes with Chromebooks in that the packaging of them should indicate on them when they expire. Now, most of them will last about 8 years. One of the things you have to be concerned about, there is a tremendous amount of Chromebooks on sale on Amazon as refurbished models. Most of these aren't very good deals. They look really good when you look at them, but most of these are leasebacks from the school districts that have used them for 3 or 4 years, which mean physically they probably have maybe 3 years of life left in them before they expire. So you have to be careful if you're buying a used or refurbished machine. And you can get a brand new Chromebook for $169, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I'm not sure that I would really do that. Make a budget. If you're going to look at a Chromebook, we're going to talk about Chromebooks that you can buy for $300. We're going to talk about Chromebooks you can buy for $600. And we can talk about Chromebooks that are $2,000. You have a very wide selection and we'll talk about what you would look at this and what your goals will be when you go to buy a Chromebook. One of the things that I'd like you to consider is, do you need a laptop? Many people I see have buy a laptop, they bring it home, they put it on the desk, plug it in, and use it, and never moves. It never moves in the history of the usage. And one of the problems that you'll find in a laptop, it needs a battery. And you'll see here in this diagram, there's a big battery there. Batteries are a problem because all current laptops, including Chromebooks, do not have changeable batteries. So the life of the device is based on the battery, because you can't change the batteries. This type of battery that came out they don't make computers like this anymore, and they don't make these type of batteries. So you have to understand that. So one of the other things that you can buy is what we call a Chromebox. Now this is a cool idea, and what this is a box. It's a Chromebook, but it's a box. In other words, it doesn't have a keyboard, it doesn't have a mouse, and it doesn't have a monitor. You plug all those in. And this is an example of a Chromebox. You'll see it's mounted on the back of this monitor here, and you plug your keyboard, monitor, and all your devices into this box, and it's very portable. It's great if you are a snowbird or something like that and you want to travel around a bit. You just take your computer with you, and it's about the size of the palm of your hand. So this actually works very well. And this is called a Chromebox, and there's no battery in there. So this will last a very long time. Now, one of the things that when you're looking for a Chromebook, people often wonder about screen size or screen considerations. And the first item here, it says, what size screen should you buy? And as I get older now, my goal is that I want the largest screen I can have. I have two 38-inch screens in front of me right now, 38-inch, right? Big screens. I love big screens. Harder to see as you get older. So, so the bottom line and what I'm saying is, all Chromebooks you can plug screens into. So if you really, I don't think the screen's a big issue. You can plug anything you want into there, and so it's not. I don't think it's a big issue, but you should have a look at that and see what you feel comfortable with. Should you get a flip screen? Should you have like what we call a 2-in-1 on a Chromebook? And this is where it flips onto itself. And you'll see these in a few minutes, and we'll talk about that. And my answer to that is, well, it's interesting. In all the people that I've talked to in the last 5 years, and I quizzed a lot of people, I've said, have you ever used your laptop, your Windows 10 laptop, as a tablet? And I've never met anybody in the whole world that's ever done that. May says she did. Well, I tried it for 3 weeks, and I think it's creepy. I think it's weird and creepy. I just could never get the hand of using Windows 10 as a tablet. All right, it's a bit weird. Now, I will say a Chromebook's different, and the reason whereas I don't recommend flips tablets for Windows 10, I do recommend it for Chromebooks, and the reason is because most of the apps that we use on a Chromebook come from your cell phone. They'll be all the apps that you use on your smartphone, and they're all touchy-feely apps. So it's a tactile. You can use it. So you will feel very comfortable using the apps on a Chromebook in a tablet mode. So I think actually I think tablet mode in a Chromebook is important, and I would certainly do recommend that. As I recommend a touch screen. Again, Windows 10, waste of money as far as I'm considering with the touch screen and tablet mode, and you pay a lot of money for that, But I would encourage you, most Chromebooks, if you're spending a little more, will give you a touch screen. And I think that's important because you're using apps, and you'll feel comfortable because you're going to have the apps that you normally use on your smartphone. Now, the next one is, how bright is it? When you, that's the nice thing about going to Walmart or Best Buy, is go and have a look at them. You know, don't just buy them over the internet. Go and have a look at them and look and see the screen. The screen brightness is called nits, N-I-T-S, and some screens are very bright and some screens aren't. So, you know, you want to get a brighter screen so it looks nice. So have a look at them. And again, we're going to talk about screen resolution in a minute. The $169 Chromebooks just don't have a very good resolution on the screen. If you just want to check your email and do a few simple things like that, that's fine. But you'll be very disappointed if you want to run movies or Netflix or do some more advanced things with it, because the resolution will be, you're not going to get much in the way of resolution for $169. So, and again, I think the computer screen is the most important purchase. And we talked a bit about external monitors. You can plug lots of monitors into these devices. Again, you don't have to worry what type of hard drive it is, because they all are SSDs. Now, when you get your new Chromebook, I usually like to talk to, I actually have a course on how to purchase a new computer, and this slide came from that. And the first thing I recommend is have a plan to move your data. Now, it is so much fun with a Chromebook, because if I have a new person that's just got a Chromebook and they use Google Chrome, they use Gmail, and they use Google Drive, it's so much fun. I have them come to, I say, don't open your computer, keep your Chromebook. I want you to come to our computer, to our Chromebook special SIG, our special interest group. I want everyone in the group to see your face when you turn on that computer. So what happens is with a Chromebook, you simply go there and you'll log into your Google account, and you watch, and then everything's there. All your stuff's there. You don't have to do anything. It's all there. If it's in Google, it's already on your Chromebook. And the look on people's face is one of amazement. They think, how does this happen? And it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so very easy. So data management is something. Apply updates. I usually say, you know, that's a big chore with Windows 10. Whenever you get a new Windows 10 machine, there's all those updates you got to do. Not so with a Chromebook. It'll do it automatically for you in the background. Review security programs. No security programs on a Chromebook. You don't have to do that. Install a password manager. Comes with a password manager. Dump the bloatware. There is no bloatware on any Chromebook. There's no ads. There's no bloatware. There's nothing. You get the clean, pure, crisp, just Chromium operating system when you buy a Chromebook. It is account driven, so you do need to know your Google account, and you need to know your password. So that's important, because it is account driven, as most places are now, as most software is now. You'll find this is actually an older slide, and it talks a little bit about ARM, A-R-M, as a chip versus Intel. And I put this on there a couple of years ago because ARM chips are commonly used in Chromebooks, and a lot of people didn't know about them, so I wanted to just mention that. However, that's all changed now. In fact, a lot of the Windows 10 machines have ARM processors in them, and Apple just is introducing ARM processors to all their whole line of computers, and including their iPhone. So you'll be hearing a lot about ARM, and it's an excellent chip. Now, what happened was with Chromebooks about 3 or 4 years ago, when Chromebooks first came out, they had all the Chromebook apps were for Chromebooks, and you had to go to the Chrome web store to download apps for your Chromebook. And there were lots of them, but you had to go to the Chrome web store and do that, right? And then Google made the big announcement about 3 or 4 years ago and said, we are going to open the Play Store up for Chromebooks, and all the apps on the Play Store would then work with the Chromebook. So that meant anything you had on your Android phone, any apps you had, would work on a Chromebook. And that was huge. I mean, that was just like crazy, because now you have millions of apps that you can use on your Chromebook. Anything in the Play Store, you can use on your Chromebook. This was a big deal. However, the reason I put this slide up is because if you bought a refurbished machine that may be older than 3 or 4 years, you may not have the ability to go to the you'd have to use the Chrome Web Store and use those apps, because it was a change about 3 years ago that allowed the Play Store to be used on a Chromebook. So if you're getting an old machine or you have an old Chromebook, it may not allow that. This is just another slide of a Chromebox. Good friends of mine, I don't know if you've watched, you probably know Chris and Jim Gould. They run Geeks on Tour. They have a website, and they did a show not too long ago on video editing on a Chromebook. There really is nothing and the reason I put this up is there is nothing that you can't do on a Chromebook that you can do on a PC. Some people are uncomfortable. They can't quite get their head around online storage. And of course, a Chromebook is meant to store your data in the cloud and to store it on Google Drive. Some people just can't get their head around that, and all Chromebooks will come with an SD slot, and you'll see here on the side of this computer, there's an SD slot. So, because Chromebooks tend not to have big hard drives, they have small 30 gigabyte, 60 gigabyte hard drives, because the storage is going to be in the cloud. But if you really have problems with that, if you just can't quite, and you want to store it locally, that's okay too. And some of the, you can buy, it's amazing. This is a SanDisk. This is a 512 gigabyte SD card. I think it was $60 or something. You can pop that in there, and then you have a lot of memory, and you can actually get these up to 1 terabyte now. So really, these will all just fit in there. And so if you want to expand the memory, it's very easy to do on a Chromebook. So in the business sector, they love these, and they're used a lot. The educational market uses them, and also the business market uses them. And this is an example of a corporate headquarters, and this is a boardroom. And what people will do is they come up and they will grab one of these machines. They go into the boardroom, they plug in their USB key, they do their presentation in top secret stuff, maybe the head of GM or the head of whatever, and they top secret stuff, and they keep it on this key, this USB key, and then they power wash. And we'll talk a bit about that. They power wash it, and then they put it back down on this stand, and the next people come to use it. And you're going to say, whoa, what's with that? And the Chromebooks have a feature on them called power washing. And when you hit the power wash button, it completely puts the computer back to factory specifications. How long does that take? Maybe 2 or 3 seconds. You just hit the button and it power washes, and it puts it back to factory specifications. You simply log in with your username and password, and it's all back there. All your stuff's back. So companies like this, because they don't have to physically have people moving their computers or laptops around with them in airports and on airplanes when they could get stolen, and they would have all their top secret information on them. We're not going to talk about this very much, but Linux comes installed. Well, you install it on your Chromebook. And in fact, I have a video that I've made. It's called "It's Only a Chromebook," and I actually have Linux running along with the Chromium operating system. And I have apps that are open that are Linux apps and Chrome apps. You can't tell the difference. For the Linux group, it runs just fine. Printing from a Chromebook is fine. It's no different than printing from anything else. If you do have if you are going to buy a new Chromebook and you are thinking about a printer, I would definitely recommend you get an HP printer. They are all compatible with Chromebooks, very easy. Just you can either use them wirelessly or plug them in, but they are very compatible from that. You can print to a Chromebook or from a Chromebook in 4 ways. You can plug it in directly as a USB connection. You can use it wirelessly through your router, as you probably do now with your Windows 10. You can do a direct connection such as hotspot, which will run through it. And the cloud printing, there's a thing called cloud printing. This is all going away. There will be no more cloud printing. This is where you could print it through the cloud, but we're not doing that anymore. And again, that's fine. I think we went through that, and it's easy to do. This is on the box. You'll see here Google's Cloud Print Ready. This is where the system all went through the cloud, and it made it really easy because you didn't need drivers or anything installed. But anyway, that's all being done away. If you have a Chromebook and you're doing cloud printing, that will be going away. All right, so what Chromebook to buy and what price range should you be looking at? Now, these are current. I just did this presentation last week. These are all bang on prices. And this was a video that was actually done by a company called Chrome Unboxed. Robbie Payne is the reviewer, and I've summarized this for you. And there were 3 ways. He put Chromebooks under $300, Chromebooks from $300 to $650, and then over $650. So in the 3 that were chosen in the under 300, these were the 3 models. There was the Lenovo Chromebook 3 for $169. It's a plastic. It has a low resolution monitor. It has an 11.6-inch screen. This is a pretty basic Chromebook. It would get the job done if you had minimal, for someone who just wants to check their email, look at the sports scores, and log into their bank once a week. This would be a great computer for $169. Oh, by the way, all Chromebooks will have the same operating system on them, so it doesn't matter which one you have. And then the Chromebook Lenovo S340 is $299. This has a nicer screen, an Intel Celeron processor. And this one here, the Lenovo C340, I think this was at Best Buy for $299. This is really a nice machine for $300. It was a 2-in-1, so it flipped, so May will be happy with that. It had an Intel Celeron and a little bit more memory. However, the award for the under $300 one went to this one, which has just come out at an unbelievable price. This is made by Lenovo. It's called the Chromebook Duet, and it's at Best Buy for $299. It has a high resolution screen. This is a true HD screen, 920 by 1200, and 400 nits. I will tell you, that is one of the brightest and clearest screens that you can get. It has a detachable keyboard, so this will come off and you can use it as a tablet, or it flips and you can use it as a tablet, or you can use it as a regular laptop. This, folks, is an unbelievable steal at $299. So it's priced right from Lenovo. So that's the best Chromebook for under $300. Now, if you go from $300 to $650, you're going to get a faster processor, and you're going to get probably a better quality screen. So the first one in this category is one that actually we're going to see in the next category, is called the Pixel Slate. And the Pixel Slate is a tablet and a flip, and it is part of the more expensive Google line of Chromebooks. However, this particular one has been heavily discounted because it's sort of being replaced by the Pixelbook Go. And so this was around $1,200 and has come down now. And so we put it into the $649 level. But this is a pretty nice machine. It's a tablet. It's a tablet. This is, it's got a reasonably fast, good fast processor in it, and an unbelievable display. So this is a very nice machine. In the Pixelbook Go is sort of the mid-level replacement. This is made by Google. This is called the Pixelbook Go, made by Google and this came out this year for $649. This is a 13.3-inch touchscreen, fast processor, backlit keyboard. It's a very nice machine, and that's available from Google. And then the one this is a bit of a sleeper. This was the Lenovo Flex 5 at $409. And this makes merit. It's got a 14-inch screen, 2-in-1 touch, so it flips. It's got a fast processor. It's got a fairly large hard drive and a backlit keyboard, and it's only $409. So this, if your budget was sort of in that range group, this is really a good machine. And that's the and this is what it looks. This is the Flex 5, and this was the one that and then that's what it looks like. And I think I took that off of. It was just written up. This is an article that was just put out last week, and someone wrote this article and said this is the perfect Chromebook, and this reviewer just couldn't find anything wrong with that. However, the best one that was picked by the Chrome Unbox for this price group was called the Acer Chromebook Spin 713, and this has just gone on sale at Best Buy at a screaming price of $529. It was $629, but it's dropped $100 and is on sale, and this is one of the best deals now. And this has an i5 processor. It has a good solid hard drive. It has a HD screen, backlit keys, Gorilla Glass trackpad, and it flips onto itself. And this is in that price range, this is the deal, and the one that I would probably get is the Acer Chromebook Spin 713, and that's available at Best Buy on sale for $529. Now, you're going to get over the $650. You're going to, what? A Chromebook for over $650? Well, you can buy Chromebooks for over, for $2,000. The original Chromebook that was made by Google that for businesses was called the Pixelbook, and this is the one that I have, and this is around $1,600. Again, these can be spec'd out in any way, and you can make the specs on these however you want. I love my Pixelbook. Out of all the laptops I've owned, and I've owned a lot of laptops, I will tell you that this is like getting into a very high quality car each day and driving to work. When I pick my Pixelbook up in the morning, I get a quiver down my back saying, "This is nice." And this is the one I have. This is also Asus makes the Chromebook Flip. This is the C436, which is a great machine. And the one that the Pixelbook is being replaced with is called the Pixelbook Go. You saw that in the previous. This is the new line of Pixelbook from Google, and you can spec these out, and this is spec'd out with an i7. This is a high-end machine for business, and that would be $1,849. And the award goes to a brand new one that came out, and this is the over 650, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. This would probably send shivers up my back too. The only problem is they have to work out the battery issue, and it's not a long battery life on this one. But the display and all the things, including the fiery red, just oozes quality, and so this is very nice. So these are the higher end business models, and you know, if you're doing it, depends on what your needs are for that. All right, I'm going to unshare myself, and you can ask, and that's sort of the presentation. And I'll open it up to any questions in Canada on Vancouver Island. We go down. We own a house in Mesa, so we go down there.
I saw that their temperatures are up a little bit. They're
yeah, I can't.
Up around mid-90s or something like that.
No, in Mesa it's been 120, 110, 115. It's been hot. It gets hot.
90s, the 90 is the nighttime. That's the cool time, is the 90. But I feel I haven't come up this year. I've had a place up in in the Villages for 10 years, over 10 years. But this summer I just haven't come up. I feel pretty safe here, and we've had some problems up in the Villages, and and there's nothing going on. So, you know, there's nothing happening. So why go up there? I stay here and clean out a little. I have a bigger house down here. So I just stay here and do some stuff and keep up with the yard and the pool and do all that stuff that I normally am anxious to get away from in the summertime.
I would invite, if everybody hasn't seen our show, Tech for Seniors, it's on, Mike can give you the details, but it's on from, you know, 9 to 10 every Monday. And Huey Popluck and I co-host the show, and we have a lot of fun. I'm not sure we're that good, but we do have a lot of fun, and we have a big following. We have 70 or 80 people that log in each week, and we have we produce the videos as well, and so you can watch the videos. And we're up to episode 18 we just did last Monday, so we keep doing it every Monday, and people seem to like it. So you're welcome.
9 to 10 on Mondays, 9
Yep.
to 10 on Mondays. And how do you get a link for that?
Yeah, I'll put the information on our website.
Yeah, Mike's got that. Now, the only thing I will tell you is you can't be late. We lock the meeting at 9 o'clock. So we have a social sort of chit chat between 8:30 and 9. So you can come into the meeting anytime between 8:30 and 9. But at 9 o'clock, we lock the meeting, so we don't have to be monitoring the waiting room. So you have to be in before 9 o'clock, and then it's an hour. And Bob does security, and as Huey and I talk about different things, and we have a lot of fun. It seems to be going pretty good. Have you seen it? Have you seen it, Mike? Have you seen any of the episodes?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
That means after 9 o'clock, May and I can't talk about cataract surgery.
You can talk. Yeah, you can talk about that before, but you can't talk about it after 9 o'clock.
After 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock the show starts.
Yeah.
And, 9
That
o'clock.
just shows how well we know each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of socialization in the first half hour. It's interesting because people are really. We didn't quite know how this was going to go, but when Huey and I designed the show, we thought, well, you know, the nice part about Zoom is you can talk to people and you can socialize. And we were really worried about, particularly in the COVID situation where people were isolated and didn't get to socialize very much. So it's really, you would be amazed. We probably have 10, 15 people waiting at 8:30 just to come into the meeting, and they just chat, you know, for the whole half hour. Not me talking, people just chatting, and they know a lot of the people that they're you know, and there are people all across Canada and the United States that are in there, and they chat, and then the show starts at 9. So it works out quite well, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. So you're welcome to come. There's no cost, and Mike can give you the link. And it's just the there's no password. It's just a Zoom. It's a meeting number. Just put the number in, and you're right there. We never change the number. The number's always the same.
Well, thanks a lot, Ron. I really appreciate it.
Okay. I'm going to edit this, and I'll get it back to you. I'll let you know. I'll send it back to you probably later on this afternoon, and you can pop it on the web or whatever you want to do with it.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right, then. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Now-
for all the information.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Now, you know when I end the meeting, everyone's going to leave, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I'm running the meeting, right? So if you guys want to stay and talk, you can do that. I'm going to go have lunch, but you know, if you guys want to stay, you could shut the meeting off when you leave, turn the lights out, or whatever you want, or just want me to end the meeting. It's up to you guys.
Okay, see you, Ron.
Okay.
We're
Bye.
done.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.